Welcome into the Detroit Free Press game of the week. Pleasure to have you alongside us once more. Jason Ross Jr. coming to you live from Belleville High School in Belleville, Michigan. We're one of the most dominant teams in the state, the most dominant team in the state over the past few weeks. We'll try to go to 5-0 on the season against the upset-minded Patriots of Franklin High School, coming in at 2-2 on the year under ninth-year head coach Chris Kelbert. Jermaine Crowell in his sixth season at Belleville. They have state title aspirations once again this year. And they'll kick off to the Patriots, and we'll see Zack Golesick come out for their offense that put up 44 points a week ago in a really riveting 44-43 win over their rivals, Livonia Stevenson. We'll try to pull off the upset on the road today, and off we go on a crisp Friday night. And taking it back from out his own goal line, that time was Brandon Ryder, and he gets hit hard to start this one off. That's what the Tigers do. They hit you pretty hard, they don't let up, and they don't take their foot off the gas pedal. The last 3 weeks, they've scored 206 points, and their opponents have scored 0. They have been absolutely dominant since that 29-26 win to open up the season against Livonia Stevenson. As we mentioned, it's a Franklin offense coming out that scored 44 points a week ago, led by the junior QB Zack Golesick, first-year starter. He's really settled in over the past couple of weeks. We got a quick flag, a couple of flags in the first play from scrimmage, as they hand it off to Connor Hatfield, and he's promptly brought down.
Wrapped up immediately by number 55 of the Tigers, David Payne. Flag on the play, illegal procedure.
We get an illegal procedure called.
The Patriots, that's declined, brings up second down and long for the Patriots.
That'll be declined. They'll take the loss, so it'll be about 2nd and 15 here. They fake the handoff, and Golesick keeps it. You'll see a lot of that today. He is excellent when it comes to keeping it himself. At a 51-yard rush for a touchdown a week ago. A kid with 4.7 speed. Once again, his first year as the starter, beat out Aiden Johnson in the offseason for that right. Gain of 7 will bring up 3rd and 8 here. This has been one of the issues for the Patriots offense over the past couple of weeks, is 3rd and long, 2nd and long situations. They go with 2 receivers on what most would call an obvious passing down situation, but they're pretty dynamic in the running game. We'll see what they do. They do keep it on the ground, and looking for the edges, Hatfield certainly didn't pick up enough. Maybe a gain of 3 or 4. Knocked it down that time by Miles Rouser, the junior strong safety. 4-star cornerback will be involved quite a bit today. That brings up a first punt of the game and a quick 3 and out for the Patriots offense.
Brings up 4th down and long for the Patriots. Back deep forward, Belleville, number 9, Daryl Johnson.
Daryl Johnson back to return at about the 50. He'll take this one and look for some room. Has it inside the 40. Down the sideline, hits the 20, and pushed out of bounds. And that'll set up the Tigers offense in some really good field position to kick this one off. Not what head coach Chris Kelbert wanted to kick things off here tonight in Belleville. We thought we'd see long drives out of the Patriots offense, or attempts at long drives, but easier said than done. Now you face an offense that has been the most prolific in the state over the past 3 weeks, and they'll set up shop just outside of the red zone. Christian Dureed, the senior quarterback, 4-year starter, took over as a freshman for DeJuan Mathis when he transferred to Oak Park. Mathis now at Georgia, and Dureed has taken that job in stride. He's got a litany of talented receivers. You don't want to give them any gifts. We get an early flag now in the first play for the Tigers.
Next foul against the Tigers, 5-yard penalty.
This will go against Belleville, so likely backed up 5 yards here to set up 1st and 15 with 9:59 to go in the opening quarter. No score yet between Belleville and Livonia Franklin in this first quarter. Franklin had a quick 3 and out. Now the Tigers offense in their opening drive after a wonderful punt return from Daryl Johnson. At the 25, they hand it off to Aaron Alexander, and he's wrapped up after about a gain of 4 there. And on the tackle is Rocco DePonio. Two-sport athlete, also a captain on the varsity wrestling team. This defense will have to be active today.
Mass brings up 2nd down. And about 12 for the Tigers.
Dureed a little delay on the snap, now fakes the handoff and looks downfield. He doesn't run often, has a man wide open though, and it'll turn into a Belleville touchdown. That's what he does, extends plays. Sometimes there are doubts about whether or not he can move out of the pocket, but did it perfectly on that occasion. And it's an early 6-0 lead for the Belleville Tigers on their home field with 9:13 to go in the first quarter.
And for the extra point, number 46, Jonathan Brewer.
Jonathan Brewer out for the extra point.
Number 9, Daryl Johnson.
Daryl Johnson was on the receiving end. It's an early 7-0 lead now after the extra point is up and through the uprights with 9:13 to go in the first quarter. Belleville on top on their home field. I mentioned it's a Belleville team that's outscored opponents 206-0 in the last 3 weeks after having to unexpectedly escape in week 1. Now ranked 1st in the Michigan High School Football Associated press poll for this week. Davison and Cass Tech are tied for 2nd in that poll. I mentioned state championship aspirations once again this season, and they've looked every bit the part over the past few weeks. Belleville has made the D1 state semifinal in each of the last 2 seasons. So the question mark this year is whether or not they can take the next step. A couple of weeks away from the playoffs and trying to wrap things up with what they hope will be a 6-0 regular season.
26, Hatfield. Taking on number 26, Jonathan Brewer.
And Jonathan Brewer is set to kick off and back at his own 8-yard line is Connor Hatfield for Franklin. Off we go once again. Belleville now up 7-0 with 9:13 to go in the first quarter. Hatfield looking for a block and cut down at the 25. That's where Zack Golesick will set up shop after a quick 3 and out on the opening drive.
Dylan Martin.
Olesick went 14 of 25 last week with 266 yards through the air, along with 10 carries for 70 yards on the ground. It was a really balanced attack a week ago, and the mindset coming in for this Franklin offense was to utilize that balanced attack once again this week, but extend some drives, which they've done this year. We saw in the opening week of the season against Fordson, they had nearly an 8-9 minute drive to open up the first quarter. So if you can find a way to replicate that today, it would certainly be ideal. Just 2 receivers in this set on first down. He looks for a man, but then gets wrapped up and brought down in the backfield. Damon Payne along with Ramir Lewis. It is a formidable defensive line. This Franklin offense, which has been really good this season in terms of opening up holes for the running game, will have their hands full today. It's a loss of 5, so it brings up 2nd and 15 with 8:42 to go in the opening quarter. A 7-0 Belleville lead on their home field. trying to get to 5-0 on the season. Franklin trying to get back above 500. They're at 2-2 on the year. And they've played in some really close games this season, as we have a player down on the field right now. So it'll be a coach's timeout. And we'll take that time to remind you that tonight's Detroit Free Press Game of the Week is presented by Detroit Public Schools Community District. Every school day counts for our children's academic, social, and emotional development. Detroit Public Schools Community District is preparing students for their rise and is safely providing face-to-face learning and online learning at home or in a learning center. Enroll today and visit DetroitK12.org or call 313-240-4377. Remember, when students rise, we all rise. The Franklin offense trots back out onto the field. Once again, it'll be 2nd and 15 with 8:17 to go in the opening quarter. A 7-0 Belleville lead. Golesick will hand it off this time, and Perzak finds a bit of room off that left side. Gain of 3. We'll call it a gain of 4, so make it now 3rd and 11 for the Franklin offense. So another 3rd and long situation here. This is what's plagued their offense over the past couple of weeks and really throughout the season, trying to evade these situations as much as possible against a very talented and deep Belleville defensive line and secondary. Well, oftentimes you might see a high safety drop back for this Belleville defense. We don't get that here. And another quick whistle. We'll get a timeout called by Franklin with 7:18 to go in this first quarter. A 7-0 Belleville lead on the home field. Welcome back to the Detroit Free Press Game of the Week here in Belleville, Michigan. Belleville with an early 7-0 lead on the home field. They have not lost this year, 4-0 on the season. 3rd and long here for the Franklin offense. They go to the ground. Not much doing there. Back-to-back 3-and-outs to open up the game for the Franklin offense. Now 7:05 to go in this opening quarter. Once again, Belleville up 7-0. It'll be 4th and 11, and the punting unit comes out for the Patriots.
In the punt, number 30, Braden Phelps. Back deep, number 9, Darrell Johnson.
And Darrell Johnson will make the fair catch just inside of Franklin territory at about the 48-yard line. So for the 2nd consecutive drive, the Belleville offense will take over in Franklin territory. Last time it was around the 27, backed up a bit more this time, but still some good field position for an offense that has been riding high over the past few weeks. Once again, 206 points in the last 3 weeks for this offense. And back comes Christian Dureed, 38-3 career record, pro-style QB, but was able to move out of the pocket on that last drive and threw his first touchdown pass of the game. Entered the season needing just 30 touchdown passes to surpass the all-time state record for career touchdown passes. They line up with 4 receivers as they usually do, and Dureed is looking deep in the vertical attack. Down the sideline, has a man. They'll say he was out of bounds. They sent all 4 receivers deep on the vertical routes. It'll be incomplete.
Out of bounds by number 6, Gibbs.
That time he was looking for Cortez Gibbs, the senior, on senior day. He's an experienced offense, and that's one of the most exciting out-of-bounds catches you'll ever see. This offense can provide that for you. They line up in the shotgun once again with now 6:32 to go in the opening quarter. Belleville up 7-0. Dew steps up, steps out, finds a man for a first down. And more. Inside of the red zone, down to the 14-yard line.
Pass complete to Hitchcock.
That time he hits Hitchcock for a lengthy gain.
Number 11. Whistle.
They'll call it a gain of 34. And now the Tigers offense is quickly at the 14. Franklin up 7-0 with 6:22 to go in the opening quarter. Even when you know it's coming, it's tough to stop. And it's a Franklin secondary that has struggled at times. The Tigers look to attack it again. Just a little pass out to the flats, and there's a nifty move. Into the end zone they go. It's Aaron Alexander, and the Tigers are up 13-0 with 6:13 to go in this first quarter. A couple of quick drives, quick strikes. It is a tough offense to stop. We were wondering whether or not we'd see a man-to-man look or a zone look from this Franklin defense today, and at the moment they're simply on their heels. 6:13 to go in the opening quarter, and it's now a 14-0 Belleville lead.
Tigers 14, Patriots no score.
It's a Patriots offense that is certainly going to need more than just those quick 3-and-outs. And at the moment, they're giving Belleville some very ideal field position. Tigers have set up at the 27 and the 48 and have scored in less than a few plays on both occasions. Head coach Jermaine Crowell, now in his 22nd season coaching high school football overall for the Belleville Tigers. 6th season at Belleville, I should say, but he was an assistant coach for 16 seasons, including 9 at Cass Tech. Former defensive back coach and defensive coordinator. Has coached some very good DBs in his day. His mentor was Thomas Wilcher, who's now the head coach at Cass Tech. .54-8 career record for Crowell, and trying to make it win number 55 tonight on the home field. With 6:13 to go in the opening quarter, it's a 14-0 Tigers lead, and they kick off once again. Hatfield back at his own 5. It's the 20, cuts inside, found a nice block up to the 33-yard line.
Brought down by number 13 of the Tigers, Dylan Martin.
Brought down by Daryl Martin. Now back comes the 2-2 Franklin Patriots offense. Once again, Franklin coming off a 44-43 comeback victory over Stevenson in overtime last week, which felt like a really pivotal win, knowing what kind of test would come up this week. They felt in practice yesterday that there was good tempo, good energy. They were relaxed and having fun, while knowing how serious this matchup would be. And now it's settled in early that you're trailing by 14 on the road. Golesick can make big plays. He'll try to do that here on first down. Passes out of the reach of his running back, Connor Hatfield, on 1st and 10. 6:01 to go in the first quarter. 14-0 Belleville lead. Golesick has been forced to grow up quickly this season. We mentioned all the close games. And both of Franklin wins are by a combined 2 points on the season. Golesick can do this well, slips past the first man and picked up about 3 on 2nd and 10. That'll make it 3rd and 7. I mentioned the 44-43 win last week. Then they had a season-opening 28-27 win over Dearborn-Fordson. Their 2 losses, though, are both games that they blew double-digit second-half leads in. So it kind of feels like the season could be better, but it also could be worse when you put it into perspective. It's a defense, though, for Franklin that has allowed, I should say, at least 4 touchdowns in each of their 4 games this season, and already halfway to allowing that mark once again today. They line up on 3rd and 7 with 5:10 to go in the opening quarter. A little dump over the middle, a check down to Brandon Ryder, and he's promptly met by a slew of black jerseys. And it'll be another 3rd and out for this Franklin offense. 3 consecutive 3-and-out drives to open up the game for Franklin. We thought the start would be very important for the Patriots. And offensively, they just have not completed their goal so far. That goal coming into today was to hopefully keep the Belleville defense out there for a while, which is something you typically have to do when you're trying to pull off an upset. Daryl Johnson has had some nice returns so far. He'll take this one from his own 35. Tries to break through the first slew of white jerseys and somehow does. Found the edge inside of Franklin territory. Down the sideline at inside the 30. Looks like they'll mark him out at about the 27. What a return from Daryl Johnson on that occasion. Looked like he was dead in the water back inside of his own 40. Got through that first kind of slew of white jerseys. They'll push it back to the 32, Franklin, but for the 3rd consecutive drive, the Belleville offense was set up inside of Patriot territory. Hearing from the Franklin sideline, at some point you have to start playing, and not liking the effort early on with 4:06 to go in this first quarter, a 14-0 Belleville lead. 1st and 10 for the Tigers offense from the Franklin 33. Christian Dureed already with a couple of touchdown passes. He looks down the seam once again, has a man, 1 play, 1 more touchdown, and the Tigers are up 20-0. It's Jeremiah Caldwell on the receiving end. The highly talented receivers strike once more. It's 20-0 with 3:58 to go in the opening quarter. This entertaining offense is on their game again on a Friday night. The game started 20 minutes ago, and we already have 20 points scored. Dureed had 5 touchdown passes last week, 7 the week before that. Belleville now up 21-0 with 3:58 to go in this first quarter. Beautiful 52-degree fall night. Feels like football in the state of Michigan. Pleasure to have you with us once more this week. Jason Ross Jr. back with you for the Detroit Free Press Game of the Week. We mentioned Christian Dureed and his pursuit of that all-time state record for career touchdown passes in the state of Michigan. The record is 124, set by Mason G. Montgomery back in 2014 to 2016. Dureed needed 30 entering the season to pass that. Already has a few tonight. Entered the season working on slimming down his weight to prove that he can do a little more outside of the pocket. We've seen him do that tonight, along with his very calm, cool demeanor inside of that pocket that has been very comfortable so far on this Friday night. Experienced offensive line for Belleville. 3:58 to go in this first quarter. A 21-0 Tigers lead on their home field.
Penalty against the Tigers for procedure.
We got an illegal procedure penalty called on the Tigers, so we'll back up 5 yards here on the kickoff. A little squib kick that settles down at the 15. Hatfield had some trouble with it initially and picked it up, and he'll be gang tackled back at his own 24. So Zack Golesick and this Patriots offense, 3 and out in each of the first 3 drives, trying to correct that this time around. Not a team that's used to, if they don't come back here, used to being below 500. They're 2-2 right now. Got off to a 6-0 start in 2019. Finished that season 8-3. Lost their starting quarterback Jacob Kelbert to graduation. Golesick has had some bright moments this season. Just talking to people around the team, the discussion was kind of that, you know, if they were to come in on the road today and have some struggles, that his youth may be exposed. We'll see if he can settle down here. Once again, 3 consecutive 3 and outs. They go to the sweep this time, which they often do. Hatfield has some room, gets to the 40, and picks up the first down of the day for the Patriots offense. It's a gain of 12 on first down, and they're out to the 42. So promising run there. They love to run Hatfield on the sweep, so look for more of that. 5'9", 160 back, Connor Hatfield. Not huge, but incredibly elusive. Shifty, can make a man miss. Now they go to the empty backfield. Interesting set here. 3:22 to go in the opening quarter. A 21-0 Belleville lead. Golesick on the keeper. They like to do this as well. Designed run, but Belleville saw it all the way, and that's a loss of 1 on first down. Damon Payne in on the tackle, 6'4" senior, 297, committed to Alabama. Parents Damon and Tamika are in the stands today on senior night. Alabama commit. A couple of other SEC schools are interested. Auburn and Georgia were also in the mix. Said he didn't have a single second thought, though, about where he wanted to go to college. He'll be playing for Nick Saban next season. Golesick on the handoff, this time to Perzak. Has a hole out to the 49. That was a 2nd and 10 run. With 2:20 to go in the opening quarter, a 21-0 Belleville lead.
Brings up a 3rd down and 3, ball placed at the Patriots 49-yard line.
We'll put it at the 49, as mentioned. It'll be 3rd and 3 now for the Patriots offense. Looking to get inside of Belleville territory for the first time tonight. This feels like a big 3rd down early for the Patriots offense. 1:50 to go now in the first quarter. 21-0 Belleville lead. Hatfield in motion. They fake it to him. Golesick on the keeper. Almost had a hole, got tripped up, picked up the first down, and the Patriots enter Tiger territory.
Picks up the Patriots first down, tackled by number 33, Robinson.
Mark the ball down at the 44 of Belleville. It's a big first down conversion there for the Patriots offense that had been 3 and out in their first 3 drives. Starting to get back a bit to what they do on this drive, though. It's a couple of sweeps, a couple of QB keepers. We'll see if they can potentially get the receivers involved. Flag flies. You can't afford this if it is against the Patriots. It'll be the second today.
Offside Belleville.
They'll call it on Belleville, so that helps out the Patriots offense. Now first and 5. You'll take any gift you can get tonight. If you're the Patriots offense, trailing 21-0 with 1:04 to go in the opening quarter. And they go to the ground, and there's another big hole opening up. We mentioned it's an offensive line that has opened up holes like that all season long. Matter of whether or not you can do it consistently tonight. And on this drive, they're starting to assert themselves up front for the first time today. Kyle Fugetti opened up the hole that time, the senior offensive tackle, 6'6", 300 pounds. One of 2 players over 6'5" on the Franklin offensive line. Now it's first and 10 from the Belleville 30. Golesick keeps it, wrapped up, ball is loose and on the turf. It looks like Belleville pounced on it. That's exactly what Franklin wanted to avoid. They fumbled early in the last week's game against Stevenson on the opening drive, and they cough it up in their first trip inside of Belleville territory. And that feels like a big turnover that we might look back on later in this game. 25 seconds to go in the first quarter. 21-0 is the Belleville lead. And the first real promising drive for the Patriots offense is cut short by a fumble, the first turnover of the game. That brings Christian Dureed back out onto the field. It's been target practice for Dureed so far. The secondary for Franklin has struggled. They go to the vertical attack again. All 4 receivers heading downfield. Dureed doesn't have anything at the moment. Throws it away along the near sideline. That leaves 16 seconds on the first quarter clock. 21-0, the Belleville lead, and now second and 10 from their own 36. Coming up next. The mentality of this offense and the offensive line, every play is just to play to the whistle. Their aerial attack, they can run all 4 receivers down the field like that because the offensive line does give Dureed so much time to throw. And while Dureed may get a lot of the accolades, he'll be the first one to tell you he loves his O-line. They go back to the air this time. As expected, they hit the sideline. This time it's Deion Burks, the Purdue commit, streaking across the field and has a first down on a gain of about 17 inside of Belleville territory with just 8.5 seconds to play in this first quarter. And is brought down by Trevor Perzak.
48-yard line with Tiger head, first and 10.
They'll let the first quarter clock run out. 21-0 will be the lead after 1 quarter of play here in Belleville, Michigan. A wonderful Friday night for the Detroit Free Press game of the week. And Belleville is on top over the visiting Franklin Patriots, 21-0. You're watching the Detroit Free Press game of the week. And take this time to remind you that this broadcast is brought to you by the Detroit Free Press, your flagship news and information source for sports in Michigan. The Free Press has launched a new digital subscription model which gives high school sports fans exclusive access to Mick McCabe's weekly columns, rankings, and predictions. Your support will help the Free Press stream high school football games all season long. Subscribe today at freep.com for our latest promotional offer. Don't want to miss out on Mick McCabe's weekly columns, his rankings. I love to check in on those each and every week. If you're a high school football fan, it's certainly the place to be. This team's played a close matchup last year. It was a 39-29 Belleville win that was probably closer than that final score indicated. was a 3-point game with roughly 3 minutes to go. But then a late interception and a subsequent score from Belleville made it a 10-point game. Right now, though, it's been all Belleville with the exception of a bit of promise on that last drive from Franklin until the fumble. Dewey takes over, now going the other way to our right. A low throw picked up and a dart with 11:53 to go in this second quarter. A 21-0 Belleville lead. As we mentioned, Jeremiah Caldwell on the receiving end that time. So now they're down to the 27 of Franklin and moving quickly. Dewey opting to the opposite side this time, and a rare drop. Intentions that time for Deion Burks. Three passing touchdowns last in this first quarter for Belleville. Now into the second quarter with 11:25 to go. 2nd and 10 for the Belleville offense inside of Franklin territory at the 27. Drops back to throw once again, has the slant. It's Jones, the junior receiver. He's a deep threat, but they also love to run him over the middle. Player with excellent footwork and really an explosive nature off the line of scrimmage. And Trevor Jones, one of a litany of different targets for Dew Reed, but we do get a flag down on the play here.
Penalty against Belleville. Back in the back. Replaying second down.
It's a penalty against Belleville on a block in the back. Sets them back to 2nd and 10. Dewey hands it off. Aaron Alexander looking for a block, gets cut down at about the 22 of Belleville. Franklin, I should say.
Ball carrier Alexander. 26 on the tackle. Hatfield.
Connor Hatfield, running back on the opposite side for Franklin, made the tackle that time. Alexander, his blocking plays a key role in the offense for Belleville, but they put it on the ground every once in a while, and he can often be overlooked in the Belleville offense. Very quick back, athletic, also plays linebacker, an excellent kid, very dedicated in the classroom, has a 3.8 GPA. Hatfield appeared to be injured on that last play. Certainly not a player that you want to see go down on the Franklin side. Hatfield takes a lot of the snaps on the offensive side of the ball, and that's one of the dangerous parts, obviously, about playing both sides of the ball in the game of football is the injuries that can take place. Trevor Persack is also a very capable running back for Franklin, so we'll see where they go in that direction when they do get back out on offense. Meanwhile, the top priority is 3rd and 4 for the Belleville offense. From the Franklin 21 with 10:52 to go in the second quarter. Belleville up 21-0 and looking to extend that lead. Has a man who has the edge down the sideline inside of the 15. They'll mark him at the 10. Deion Burks loves his QB, and they hook up once again there. Burks, the Purdue commit. 35 receptions, 871 yards last season for Burks. Those two hooked up a lot. This is an offense that's lethal inside of the red zone, hoping to take a 4-touchdown lead. Franklin defense has given up at least 4 touchdowns in every game this season, and that streak is extended as the Tigers find the end zone once more.
Dury's pass is complete to Rapley.
It was Christian Rapley on the receiving end, 4-star receiver. Hauls in another very physical target. They like to go to him in the red zone, and it's now 27-0 in favor of Belleville with 10:39 to go in the second quarter. The extra point is up and good, so 28-0, a commanding Belleville lead in the second quarter. Look at the last few seasons for Belleville. 12-1 last year, 12-1 the year before, 10-1 before that. Christian Dury was the quarterback in all of those years I just mentioned. Now off to a 4-0 start, and barring a comeback tonight, you're looking at potentially 5-0. We knew they'd be good in the regular season, but certainly the emphasis here around this part of the state, in this city, is what can you do in the postseason. That's the one part that's been missing, the state championship ring. Can Christian Dureed claim his first? He said that's his mindset this year, and that's the top priority. He said his main goal is winning that state championship because it's something he hasn't done yet. He's done a lot when it comes to passing yards and records and touchdown passes, just added on another there. Has such a fearless mentality.
Number 46 of the Tigers, Jonathan Brewer.
It has been smooth sailing for Belleville over the past few weeks. Now 234 combined points, if you include this game, the previous 3 weeks, for the Tiger offense. Since their opening weekend win, 29-26 over Stevenson. Perzak out to about the 35. That's where Zack Golesick will take over, the junior QB. Franklin's last drive was promising, but it was cut short with a fumble inside of Belleville territory. Zack Golesick's predecessor set the bar pretty high. Jacob Kelbert, son of head coach Chris Kelbert, who's moved on to college now. Helped the team reach the state final back in 2017. Head coach Chris Kelbert has really set a standard for this group since taking over in 2002. And they aren't used to being down 28-0 with this chunk of time, 10:34 to go in the second quarter. They go back to the ground. You wonder if it'll be enough, though, to keep the Belleville defense on their heels, because it, for the most part, is a very run-heavy attack with a lot of options for Zack Golesick because he is so prolific with his legs. The offensive line opened up some holes on that last drive, but can you do it on back-to-back occasions here? That fumble really felt immense in this first half. Once again, a 28-0 Belleville lead with 10 minutes now to go in the second quarter. So Franklin offense that averaged 38.5 points per game last season. And we thought they would have to score at least 40 to win today. They needed to make this a shootout. They go to the air here. They haven't done that a lot today. Over the middle, slant route is complete. Right here on the sideline with 9:34 to go in the second quarter. My apologies. 28-0 is the Belleville lead.
Brought down by number 11, Dyson.
Cameron Dyson on the tackle.
He's up 3rd down and 5 for the Patriots. Ball at the 33.
On the flip side, Belleville aiming for a 4th consecutive shutout. They're so talented in the secondary and then up front as well. Golesick had some time there, but overthrew his receiver high. On 3rd and 5. So perhaps for the 4th time today would be the smart decision to put the punting unit out there for Franklin, and that's exactly what they'll do.
4th down and 5 for the Patriots.
Daryl Johnson has been really good in the return game so far for the Tigers, and they might be looking at some good field position again here. He'll line up back at the 42 of Franklin. That's where he'll await this punt. It's a good punt, though. He has to drift back, touched it, smartly scoops it up. Now navigating. He'll hop out past the 30, broke a tackle to the 40. Daryl Johnson is explosive, he is elusive, he hits the sideline, and he's inside of Belleville territory. Something out of nothing once again for Daryl Johnson. There are some screams of Deion Sanders in the crowd. And that punt return was elusive of Mr. Sanders. Wow, that showcases the athleticism of this team in a microscope there. They have several guys who can do that, which is pretty scary. Now Johnson just kind of calmly trots back out on offense. One of a slew of different targets for Christian Dew-Reed, who already has 4 touchdown passes today. 8:36 to go in the 2nd quarter. 28-0 is the Belleville lead. Pleasure to have you with us for the Detroit Free Press Game of the Week. They go to the ground. Aaron Alexander got through the first tackle. Now he's to the 2nd level. Down the sideline, inside of the 5, and to the 4. We mentioned Alexander, the junior back, is kind of an overlooked player in this offense. Very explosive, very quick, athletic. Gosh, such a good kid as well, 3.8 GPA, and he can explode if you give him a hole. A couple of wimpy tacklers couldn't bring him down. And on back-to-back drives, the Belleville offense is inside of the Franklin 10 here in the 2nd quarter with 8:05 to play. In the first half, Tigers up 28-0. Dew-Reed hands it off once again, the initial bounce, and now they scamper into the end zone for the 5th time in this first half. 34-0 now is the Tigers' lead with 7:51 to go in the 2nd quarter. They're running away with it on the home field once again.
After the extra point, number 26 of the Tigers, Rhodes.
The extra point is up and good, so a 35-0 commanding lead for Belleville with 7:51 to go in the 2nd quarter. We'll take a moment to remind you that tonight's Detroit Free Press Game of the Week is presented by Detroit Public Schools Community District. Every school day counts for our children's academic, social, and emotional development. Detroit Public Schools Community District is preparing students for their rise and is safely providing face-to-face learning and online learning at home or in a learning center. Enroll today. Visit DetroitK12.org or call 313-240-4377. Remember, when students rise, we all rise.
Back deep, number 6, Tyler Whitman, also number 11, Burger Wisconsin. Picking out for the Tigers, number 26, Brewer.
Twin brothers Tyler and Trevor Wisman back to return for Franklin. And we get a flag flying.
Penalty flag on the kick. Offsides. Belleville.
It's an offsides call on the kickoff on Belleville, which would be a 5-yard penalty. Tigers are coming off a 68-0 win over John Glenn. 3 consecutive games with over 60 points, and now they're a little over halfway there with still 7:51 to go in the second quarter. Up 35-0 on the home turf. It'll be Tyler Wisman from his own 10. It's the hole fearlessly. More flags go flying. 7:45 now remaining on the second quarter clock. 35-0 is the Belleville lead. This is the most lopsided game that Franklin has played in so far this season. Every other game has been airtight. Each one decided by within 2 touchdowns. Each of their 2 wins are by 1 point. They've also lost by 10 and by 4. We mentioned earlier in the broadcast that it kind of feels like this Franklin season could be better or it could be worse, because both of their losses, they blew double-digit second-half leads, but both of their wins were also airtight. So it's been an interesting season for Franklin, trying to regroup here. Golesick, a low throw. Intentions that time for Connor Hatfield. Good to see him back out on the field. That ball may have hit the turf, though. They'll say he did scoop it up, so it's complete on 1st and 10 there. Don't believe he gained a yard, so 2nd and 10 on the little flat pass. An offense so far with one promising drive today, but it was cut short by a fumble. It was the only time they got inside of Belleville territories. Every other drive has been 3 and out, and now they're in danger of that once again here. Zahn Bird in on a tackle there, the aggressive middle linebacker. Another senior celebrating senior day tonight here at Belleville High School. Very experienced defense. I'll call that a gain of 3, so 2nd, 3rd, and 7 coming up here. A 35-0 Belleville lead with 7:05 to play in the second quarter. Zack Golesick, the first-year starter, his first experience down by this much in a game. Looks over the middle, has a man, and they pick up the first down. Hatfield streaking out just inside the 40-yard line.
Brought down by number 18, Bird.
On the tackle once again there was Bird, but a big 3rd and 7 completion. Just trying to get some sort of offensive momentum going now has to be the key for Franklin. Maybe going to the air a bit more, trying to find some gaps in the secondary. They do go with 4 receivers here, one of the first times that we've seen that today, and they go back to the air again. Pass was batted down, intentions for Hatfield, but Damon Payne with those long arms read it all the way. 6:15 to go now in the second quarter, a 35-0 Belleville lead. That brings up 2nd and 10 for the Franklin offense. The difference between this year's meeting and last year's meeting between these two teams, perhaps, is that maybe last year people genuinely felt Franklin could beat Belleville, and they had a chance to do that a year ago, trailing by 3 with a few minutes to go in that game. But this season, Franklin entered as the heavy underdog. They go back to the screen pass again, but the screen wasn't set up well, and quickly pushed out of bounds is Cordell Mabin with 6:02 to go in the second quarter. That brings up 3rd and 8. So back-to-back 3rd and longs here. They completed on 3rd and 7, and that prior 3rd and long situation. Golesick won 14 of 25 with 266 yards a week ago. 3 receivers on the right side here, and that's where he looks. It's a deep ball, well placed, but just out of the reach of the intended receiver. Intended for that time, Dom Uferman. Uferman, the senior, a 2-sport athlete. He'll be playing basketball in about a month, but couldn't quite catch up to that pass, and that is the now 6th time that we'll see a punt here for the Franklin offense. Maybe they'll try to go for it here. They will. So nothing to lose. Down 35-0 with 5:20 to go in the second quarter. They'll go for it on 4th and 8 from their own 40. Golesick rolling quickly. Block set up. Has a man on the sideline. They will not pick up the first down. They went 4 for 4 on 4th down a week ago in the 44-43 win over Stevenson. But that time, ready for it was Deshaun Lee, one of the best corners in the state, and he comes up with another big tackle there. 3-star DB offers from Akron, Kentucky, Syracuse, and Southern Miss. Still determining where he's going to end up playing college ball next year, but makes a big tackle in the meantime. Once again, the field flips in favor of this Tiger offense. Another prolific day for Christian Dureed. Said that his confidence is sky high right now. Dureed under pressure there, just slings it across his body and has a man and a first down. Flag comes flying towards the end of the play, but how about that throw from Dureed? Patty Mahomes-esque there, kind of drifting back under pressure, sidearm sling for what we think is a first down, but we'll see what the flag is. It is on Belleville, so that'll nullify the first down gain. It's a block in the back. Second block in the back called today on Belleville. Now it's 1st and 4 for the Belleville offense from the 38 of Franklin. And pass to the sideline appeared to hit the turf. It is incomplete. Intended that time for Deion Burks with 4:31 to go in the second quarter. Brings up 2nd and 4. Belleville up 35-0. 5 first-half touchdowns for the Tiger offense. A little over halfway to the 60 mark. They've hit 60 points in each of the last 3 weeks. Dewey hands it off. Alexander hops inside, got through the first wave of tacklers, and picked up a first down.
Number 14, Wilson, the ball carrier.
So he's down to the 30-yard line. They'll mark it at about the 31 here of Franklin. That brings up 1st and 10 with 4:15 to go. Clock now running on this second quarter. Another flag flies. Things getting a bit sloppy over the past few minutes here. Franklin only had 4 penalties last week. That was one of their strong suits. We'll get a timeout called here. You're watching the Detroit Free Press Game of the Week. Belleville up 35-0 with 4:02 to go in the second quarter. I'll take this moment to once again remind you that this broadcast is brought to you by the Detroit Free Press, your flagship news and information source for sports in Michigan. The Free Press has launched a new digital subscription model, which gives high school sports fans exclusive access to Mick McCabe's weekly columns, rankings, and predictions. Your support will help the Free Press stream high school football games all season long. Subscribe today at freep.com for our latest promotional offer. And Dewey back down the sideline, and this appears to be another first down for the Tiger offense.
Dewey's pass complete to Wilson. Right down by number 10, Johnson.
That time he hits Rashad Wilson Jr., the 5'7" receiver who is just another target in this very deep offense at every position. This is their longest drive of the game so far. Dewey lofts it down the sideline, and was that hauled in bounds? I'll say it wasn't, just out of bounds. Intentions that time for Jeremiah Caldwell. Belleville has won each of the last 3 meetings with Livonia Franklin. Last season, the score was 39-29, as we mentioned. But the year before that, the Tigers ran away with it and won 56-6. This time on 2nd and 10 with 3:47 to go in the second quarter. Belleville up 35-0. They go back to the ground and just move in the piles ahead there.
Number 20, the ball carrier.
Aaron Alexander.
Right by number 46, Will Linton.
Brought down by Will Litton.
Down to the 14.
And he's down to the 14-yard line of Franklin. Haven't been a lot of third downs today for Belleville. But they're posed now with 3rd and 5 from the Franklin 14. So inside of the red zone once again, where they've scored in each occasion. Looking to the sideline, and they might have the first down of forward progress.
Dewey's pass complete to number 5, Lockett.
As Tyree Lockett on that occasion, a 5'11" senior receiver.
Ball placed at the 9-yard line of the Patriots. 1st and goal, Tigers.
This Franklin defense was kind of their forte when they won the state final, or made it to the state final, I should say, my apologies, back in 2017. Run up the middle, down to the 5.
Pittsburgh, the ball carrier. Right down by 77, Zack Golesick. Take up of 2. Brings up second down.
1:56 to go now in the second quarter. Second and about 7, and we got second and goal here from the 7 of Franklin for the Belleville offense. Dureed fakes the handoff. They set up a screen, and slipping through it, an extension for the pylon. Didn't quite get there, so down to the 1.
Pass complete to number 5, Lockett.
As Lockett once again.
Number 10, Johnson, just short of the goal. It's a third goal.
Back to the air once again, and reaching for the pylon there is Jones for his first touchdown catch of the game.
Jones for a Tigers touchdown. Johnson to hold. Brewer for the extra point.
.104 to go now in the quarter. The kick is up and good.
Brewer's kick is good.
So 42-0 is the Belleville lead. With 1:04 to go in this first half. They are running away with it in smooth fashion now on your Detroit Free Press Game of the Week. An offense that could very well get above the 60 mark once again this week. 206 points in each of the last 3 weeks. An offense led by Christian Dureed, who has been an interesting story because he doesn't have any college offers yet. Though it's his aspiration to play college football, everyone around this program feels as though he can, and he certainly has the numbers to show that he can. Some of the, hesitancy revolving him potentially playing college football has come from his size and stature, 5'10", about 230, so not the tallest guy in the world. They want him to try to cut down on that weight, and he worked really hard on that in the off-season. But the mentality right now from his coaching staff is just to keep working. His head coach, Jeremiah Crowell, said that, he's got a strong arm. He can make throws. He's very smart. He knows everyone's position, everyone's assignment. And they came out with the intention today of really putting their foot on the gas pedal early and not looking back. Just 64 seconds to go now in this first half clock. Onside squib, and it'll settle down at the 47. That's where Zack Golesick will take over, just trying to get some points on the board now with 1:04 to go in the second quarter. Belleville up 42-0.
46.
Golesick back out, hands it off here, and Hatfield has a hole. Connor Hatfield went down earlier in the game. I'm glad to see him get back up after the injury on defense. And back out on the offensive side of the ball.
In the defensive backfield, George Douglas.
And brought down by George Douglas there after a gain of 6 on first down. Clock ticking at 40 seconds to go in the opening half. A 42-0 Belleville lead.
Second down and 4, Patriots.
Golesick goes to the air this time. That was dangerous. Nearly picked off.
Also a smash intended for Hatfield, opened up by number 8, Rouser.
That was Miles Rouser who nearly jumped the lane there. 4-star cornerback with offers from Michigan, Arizona State, Boston College, among others. Has 23 total offers, and there's a reason why. He just reads quarterbacks so well. Originally committed to Michigan last spring and then decided to reopen his recruitment in the summer. They like to run him on the blitz as well. Offensive line moves enough there for a first down gain with 21 seconds to go in the second quarter. Belleville up 42-0 with the clock running.
And Wright moves the ball down to the Tigers' 42-yard line. Patriots first and 10.
See, the first half clock might have run out before that play got going. It did. So 42-0, the Belleville lead on their home field after one half of play here in Belleville, Michigan. We'll step aside on the Detroit Free Press Game of the Week. Belleville up 42-0 after 2 quarters. Welcome back to the Detroit Free Press Game of the Week. Jason Ross Jr. here at Belleville High School, where the Belleville Tigers up 42-0 over the visiting Franklin Patriots. I'll take this time to remind you that the broadcast is brought to you by the Detroit Free Press, your flagship news and information source for sports in Michigan. And the Free Press has launched a new digital subscription model, which gives high school sports fans exclusive access to Mick McCabe's weekly columns, rankings, and predictions. Your support will help the Free Press stream high school football games all season long. Subscribe at freep.com for our latest promotional offer. Well, dominant through and through in that first half of action. Christian Dureed's offense was prolific once again. We mentioned they had 206 points combined in the last 3 weeks and just have not slowed up this week. Came out in the aerial attack, so a lot of plays with 4 receivers on the field and 4 receivers going down the field in vertical fashion as soon as the ball was snapped. The tendency of those plays, kind of attacking down the field, slowed down as the half progressed, but they continue to get what they want. I mean, touchdowns on nearly every drive there, and 42-0 will be your score to open up this second half in favor of Belleville.
Patriots will be kicking off.
For the Patriots, on the flip side of that, one promising drive that felt important when they were down 21-0, cut short by a fumble inside of Belleville territory. So that one certainly felt immense, and after that, they just looked kind of flat. A lot of 3 and outs, one unsuccessful 4th down conversion. And Chris Kelbert's team, in his 19th season now, having the rare occasion of looking at a scoreboard and seeing 42-0. And on the bad side of it, they lost to Belleville 56-6 a couple of years back. And this game appears to potentially be on the way to a similar score.
They will have it 1st and 10 from their own 48.
I wonder if Belleville starts to go a bit deeper down the depth chart, perhaps in this second half now. Their offense will step out first. The defense forced a quick 3 and out to open up the first half, and now Christian Dureed setting up with good field position once again. Hasn't been a single time today when the Tigers have set up back inside their own 30. That's all been field position either in Franklin territory or up near that 50-yard line. That's where they're at now. From the 48 is where this opening drive of the second half will start. More vertical threats downfield. The flag was down. Pass is caught. We'll see if this stands. Flag is down in holding territory, and it appears as though it will come back. So that'll nullify what would have been about a 30-plus yard gain there on 1st and 10. A holding call.
Foul, moves the ball back to the 34-yard line. Replay, 1st down.
At 10:30 to go now in the third quarter of play. 42-0. A rare 1st down penalty for Belleville sets them back to 1st and 25 on the holding call, but not before a quick Belleville timeout. Their mentality is play to the whistle each and every play, perhaps a bit too over-aggressive on that last sequence. The coaching staff trying to make sure everything's cleaned up. They have played 4 complete quarters in each of the last 3 weeks, trying to make that 4 weeks in a row. Since kind of a scratchy opening week against Stevenson when they won 39-29. Right now, entering today, we knew the Franklin secondary was kind of the biggest question mark, and that would be the primary advantage for Belleville, and the narrative has played out exactly in accordance to that. Last week it was different for this Franklin defense. We didn't touch much on the fact that Stevenson is primarily a running team. They had 312 yards on the ground a week ago against the Franklin defense. Barely anything through the air, but a different style today, and that's what you do in football. You adjust week to week, but this is a task that in practice, it's just difficult to replicate going up against an offense of this caliber. Dewey back to pass on 1st and 25. Under pressure. He'll just have to get this one away. Might have a man and does. At the line of scrimmage, but he slipped a tackle on 1st and 25. They pick up 25. A play is never over when Christian Dewey is scrambling with his targets and their ability to pick up yards after the catch. We'll say it was a gain of 22 where he was pushed out, so wow, a gain of 22 on 1st and 25. So when you say the play isn't over until the whistle blows, I think this team embodies that more so than any other crew in the state right now. It's the reason why they score the way they do. Looking for a 4th consecutive 60-point performance. Kind of ridiculous sometimes, though. Dewey, he'll hand it off this time, and Alexander has the hole in a 1st down. All he needed was 2 plays to get out of that 1st and 25 situation. 9:09 to go in the 3rd quarter, a 42-0 Belleville lead. Evan Pittenger made the stop, a senior middle linebacker, one of the anchors of the Franklin defense. It's typically better than what they're showing today. Pittenger, 70 tackles, 4 sacks last season. Said he's trying to prove that he belongs at the D1 level. Has received 4 college offers. Last April, the first one came in from Lawrence Tech University, a program that'll be a few years in now. Also has offers from Trine, Olivet, and Northern Michigan. Here's another hole, though, and the offensive line is cruising now for Belleville. A big hole, and they're inside of the Franklin 10, down to about the 7.
Right down by number 2, Morris.
Gary Morris made the tackle on Deshaun Lee. With 8:08 to go in this 3rd quarter, it'll be a running clock at the moment. 42-0 advantage for Belleville. They go back to the shotgun here. And Dewey will look to the end zone on a slant route. Hopped off the hands that time of the intended target.
Dewey's pass intended for Gibbs is incomplete. Brings up 2nd and 4 from the 9 for the Tigers.
Back-to-back state semifinal appearances for Belleville, and the goal this year is to not only make it to the state championship but win it, and anything less than that would certainly be a failure. They're showing why today. 42-0 with 7:09 to go in this 3rd quarter. A handoff, looking for room off the right side. They'll be closed out about 5 yards short of the end zone.
24, the ball carrier, Franklin. Right down by number 52, Mass.
Belleville going a bit deeper in the depth chart now. Aaron Mass made the saving tackle there. A senior defensive end, 3-sport athlete, plays basketball and runs track in addition to his duties on the gridiron. This time the Belleville Tigers do find the end zone yet again now. 48-0 with 6:23 to go in this 3rd quarter.
Number 6, Cortez Gibbs.
Port says Gibbs waltzes into the end zone for another Tiger touchdown.
Back to the extra point, number 26, Brewer.
may attempt to go for two here and make a personnel switch. Once again, 6:23 to go in this third. Now 49-0 Belleville Tiger lead on the home field here against Livonia Franklin. With 6:23 to go in the third. It's an offense that truly is an aerial attack. Got it done on the ground there, though. The offensive line is very experienced. You think of guys like Ramir Lewis, who really reshaped his body in the offseason. Jacoby Watkins. And Cameron Wallace up front as well. Damon Payne, who plays both sides of the ball so well. Some really good two-way linemen up front. And it's a very deflated-looking Patriot team right now on the sideline, and that deflation is starting to show on the field. As we mentioned, last week's 44-43 win for the Franklin Patriots over their rival Stevenson today has been a far cry from the competitive nature of that game. Such a balanced attack for the Franklin offense last week. Really put it on the ground well and had prolific numbers through the air. But just haven't found that today. Golesick won 14 of 25 with 266 yards last week. Today he's been limited, and so has their ground attack. This is Wisman taking it from his own 5, looking for room. And now this Franklin offense will be backed up inside of their own 10. With the running clock at 6:10 to go in the third quarter, Belleville now up 49-0 in this third.
Patriots will have it at their own 12-yard line, first and 10.
They'll take over at their own 12. Mentioned in the first half, Golesick, his predecessor, set the bar pretty high, and Jacob Kelbert, who helped lead the team to the state final back in 2017. Some room to run here. One of the better carries of the day, and they get some breathing room for the Franklin offense. Gain of 13 there on the first down run with 5:18 to go in the third.
Ball out to the Patriots 25, first and 10.
They fake the throw, go to the ground, and a little sweep. They love to do that. Hatfield was cut down hard, though. 4:42 to go now in this third. After no gain on that play, it'll be 2nd and 10 for the Franklin offense from their own 26. Trailing 49-0. An offense that loves to eat up clock, but just haven't done that so far today, with the exception of that one drive in the first half that ended with a fumble inside of Belleville territory. That was the only time they made it inside of Tiger territory today, and it was cut short. Mentioned the balanced attack a week ago, 286 yards through the air, 228 on the ground. They go back to the ground here. Hatfield broke a tackle and makes his way up near the 40 for a first down gain. So back-to-back first downs for the Franklin offense. Only seen that on a couple occasions today.
Everyone takes the ball out to the 38-yard line of the Patriots, good for a first down.
Connor Hatfield got off to an explosive start to the season. Mentioned that they love to run him on the sweep. He had 131 yards in week 1. 5'9", 160, not huge, but incredibly elusive, very shifty. A three-sport athlete as they go back to the ground on first down. Not only does he play football, but also plays hockey and baseball, so he's got quite the busy schedule throughout the year. Just loves the game, super competitive guy. Was very happy when he found out that football was coming back. Just 2:50 to go now, and the running clock here in the third quarter, 2nd and 8 for the Franklin offense, down 49-0. The handoff to Hatfield, straight up the middle for a gain of about 7 there.
The ball carrier brought down by Zan Bird.
Zan Bird made the tackle on Plezak, so it's enough for a first down. 3 consecutive first downs now. Trying to get inside of Belleville territory for just the second time today. Empty backfield here, kind of a rare look for the Franklin offense, but pulling all the tricks out of the bag now. They need points and need them quickly. It's a quick strike to the numbers. Able to find Brandon Ryder. Physical receiver at 6'3". 185. We always like to see who he's matched up against. A deep threat as well, but they like to have him in those short yardage situations. Had a 50-yard touchdown pass. 50-yard touchdown catch, I should say, a few weeks ago. This is more of what Franklin intended to do entering today. Passes over the middle, nice good chunks on the ground, eating up clock. This has been their lengthiest drive of the game. Hatfield on a sweep motion there, finds a block and another first down. So for just the second time today, the offensive line is opening up some holes, and this offense is finding a bit of a rhythm here in the third quarter. 60 seconds to go now in quarter number 3. 49-0 is the Belleville lead. Perhaps, though, a bit too much 3rd and long, 2nd and long today for the Franklin offense. Right now, we're not seeing that. We're seeing good chunks on first down, good second down gains, mostly for first downs. And yet to be faced with 3rd down on this drive. 20 seconds to go in the third quarter. Belleville up 49-0. Plezak a quick dump, and Hatfield bobbled it. Couldn't quite haul it in. That should do it for quarter number 3. Belleville up 49-0 on their home field. You're watching the Detroit Free Press Game of the Week.
This concludes the third quarter with the Tigers 49, Patriots no score. Golesick's pass intended for number 5, Brandon Rayton, goes incomplete.
Welcome back to the Detroit Free Press Game of the Week. Apologies for the Quick audio step out there. 11:30 to go in this fourth quarter on a running clock. Third and 10 now coming up for the Franklin offense. Play sack in this offense, and 2 of 11 on third down last week, and that's been an issue again today. Perhaps 4 down territory, though, now. Down 49-0 in the fourth quarter. We saw them go for it back in their own territory. That was an interesting element of their game a week ago in the win over Stevenson. It played a big role, fourth down did. They went 4-4 on fourth down in that game. It looks like they will keep the offense back out on the field right now. It'll be 4th and 4 here. Sorry, yep, it'll be 4th and 8 is where they'll mark it. The dump off over the middle to Hatfield. Navigates his way past a couple of tacklers. And down to about the 25. Enough for a first down. Robinson made the tackle.
He's going down to the Tigers' 27-yard line, 1st and 10 Patriots.
I mentioned this offense for Franklin, which hasn't been shut out this season. Averaged 38.5 points per game last year. Returned 8 of its 11 starters on offense this season, but obviously filling a key role in the most important position on the field for offense, the quarterback spot, with Zack Golesick coming in, and this is the first time he's really faced a defense of this caliber and a test like this on the road as a starter in his career. A two-sport athlete, Golesick also plays baseball. They really felt he looked good last week against Stevenson. Really 3 out of the 4 weeks, with the exception of one kind of step back. They feel he's played well. He's looked composed today. Hasn't had all the time in the world, obviously, and his targets have been covered up very well. But just all around, it's been difficult to have more than a few plays on offense today for this Franklin team. They like to run the sweeps, but the Belleville defense has evidently studied those very well and scouted the Franklin offense. The sweeps have not been productive. That brings up 2nd and 12 now for the Patriots offense. Franklin trailing 49-0 with 8:57 to go in the fourth quarter. Running clock now. Offensive line has opened up some holes, though, in this fourth. Just trying to carry momentum over into next week at this point if you're Franklin. You'll likely drop to 2-3 and below 500 for the first time in a while. This is a team that started 6-0 a season ago. So they're not used to this territory. Ultimately, that Franklin 2019 season finished 8-3, and this team has certainly heard the whispers that they haven't quite maybe lived up to the standards that's been set in years past, but trying to work their way through this letdown week and bounce back moving forward. Every team makes the playoffs this year, so more opportunity coming up. Had a heartbreaking loss in their home field a couple of weeks ago to their rival Livonia Churchill. Blew a second-half advantage of 10 points in that game. They were up 10 in the fourth quarter. Golesick looking down towards the end zone. And that pass broken up. He was looking for Brown and broken up by a couple of Belleville defensive backs. I mentioned Coach Crowell, the head coach of Belleville, now in his 6th season with the Tigers, former DB coach. He spent a lot of times coaching some really good defensive backs during his days at Cass Tech. Jordan Lewis, one of the names that comes to mind, among others. A lot of really good players that he's seen at that position in the past, and they really coach up the cornerback spot very well. Now 6:44 to go in the 4th quarter. 4th and 12 for the Franklin offense. They go to the end zone again, and this time they have it to avoid the shutout. Oh, well, they'll say it's incomplete. My apologies there. The view is a bit cut off from where I'm standing. That pass was incomplete. Tried to avoid the shutout, but on 4th and 12, they'll turn it over on downs. Now 5:52 to go in this 4th. 49-0, the Belleville lead. Waltzing their way home once again, trying to get a 4th consecutive shutout. I guess the 49 is kind of low scoring this week, though. 68 and 69 points the last couple of weeks. I wouldn't put it past them, though, even with a running clock here, to maybe get over 60 again. A convoy of blockers on the right sideline. That'll be a gain of about 6 there on 1st down.
Chased out of bounds by number 19, Brown. We'll get 2nd down and 4 for the Tigers. Ball just over the 35-yard line. At 36.
Now 2nd and 4 for the Belleville offense. 4:40 to go in this 4th. It's all cosmetic now, but they're making it look pretty good still. Sims gets inside the 45. They'll mark it at the 43-yard line of Franklin.
43-yard line of the Patriots. Good for a Tigers 1st down.
Flag goes flying prior to the snap.
Whistle on the field.
Look at a timeout called by Franklin.
Penalty flag is waved off.
That flag was waved off. Shade under 5 minutes to go in this 4th quarter. Winding down, and I mentioned this Belleville team. Anything less than a state title would be a disappointment this year. Trying to get back. They made it to the semifinal the last 2 years.
Nice round of applause for both these cheerleading squads tonight out here working hard for you.
Nice exclamation points on senior night today at the home field. We'll take this moment to remind you once again that this broadcast is brought to you by the Detroit Free Press, your flagship news and information source for sports in Michigan. And the Free Press has launched a new digital subscription model which gives high school sports fans exclusive access to Mick McCabe's weekly columns, rankings, and predictions. Your support will help the Free Press stream high school football games all season long. Subscribe today at freep.com for our latest promotional offer. And this might be another touchdown. It will be. They now jump over the 50 mark for the 4th consecutive week.
Tim Fez completes to number 89, Jalen Johnson. Good for the Tiger touchdown.
Jalen Johnson on the receiving end that time. 55-0 now is the Belleville lead with 3:18 to go in the 4th. Extra point is up and good. So 56-0 now for Belleville with 2:52 to go on their home field. So much talent on this offense, and we've seen it today. It really is, it feels like a Division I offense. The way they run it, it feels Pac-12-ish, Big 12-ish. But then the offensive line opened up some holes as well today, and it was balanced. It wasn't all through the air. It was in the beginning stages, but they really kept the Franklin defense on their heels throughout this night. And that's what they've done in each of the last 3 weeks now. This team is going to be a handful moving forward when the state playoffs do roll around. The regular season is fun, and it's been fun tonight for Belleville fans, but their minds are set on postseason play. And that's what they're anticipating right now.
Number 26, Jonathan Brewer.
Get another flag down here. They may redo the kick. It'll be offsides on Belleville. Just 1:08 to go in this 4th quarter. Clock ticking down. 56-0 will likely be the final score in favor of the Tigers. It was another electric day offensively. A 4th consecutive shutout. Franklin shutout for the first time this season. They go from 44 points last week to 0 this week. So Chris Kelbert's team will try to reset. Some space opened up there on the left side at a bid to maybe avoid the shutout, but clock should tick down now, half a minute to go in the 4th. All of Franklin's ball games this season, through what will now be a 2-3 start, they had been decided by less than 2 touchdowns. But this week, obviously that narrative changes. Felt they had some good rhythm, some good energy in practice over the past week, but the Patriots will now have to find a way to regroup. That will run out the clock. 56-0 on senior night for Belleville.
Next week Friday, right here at BHS Stadium, your Tigers will be taking on the
Tigers will face Churchill next week, what should be a really good KLA East matchup. Gavin Brooks, senior QB from Churchill, will roll in here and try to pull off an upset. Until then, Belleville can take a night to celebrate before they go to practice next week. 56-0. Once again, your final here on the Detroit Free Press Game of the Week in favor of the Belleville Tigers. Thanks for tuning in. Have a wonderful rest of your weekend.